Can I change read-only element properties in JavaScript? Imagine you're building a web from and want to control what users can edit. You might wonder if you can change properties that seem fixed, like read-only fields. Well, let's explore how this works in JavaScript and web development tools. When working with web pages, you often deal with the document object model, or DOM, which is a way browsers organize all the elements on a page. Each element has properties that describe its current state, and some of these properties are called element properties. One common property is the read-only property, which is linked to the HTML attribute called read-only. This attribute is used on input elements like text boxes or text areas to prevent users from changing their content. In JavaScript, you can change the read-only property of certain elements. For example, if you have an input element, you can set its read-only property to true or false. Setting it to true makes the input field uneditable, but users can still click on it or select the text. Setting it to false allows editing again. You can do this by writing code like element read-only is equal to true or element read-only is equal to false. Alternatively, you can add or remove the read-only attribute dynamically using methods like setAttribute, read-only, to add it, or remove attribute, read-only, to remove it. This gives you a lot of control over how users interact with your forms. It's important to understand that the read-only property only applies to specific input types, such as text, search, URL, telephone, email, password, and text areas. It does not work with checkboxes, radio buttons, or buttons. For those, if you want to prevent interaction, you need to use the disabled property instead. When an element is disabled, it cannot be focused or interacted with at all, unlike a read-only element which can still be focused and copied from. Now, what happens if you try to change a truly read-only JavaScript property? If the property is defined with a constant or has only a getter, JavaScript will throw a type error, especially in strict mode. But for HTML input elements, changing the read-only property is allowed and very common. You can toggle the read-only state dynamically, which is useful for forms that change based on user actions or validation. In summary, yes, you can change the read-only property of supported input elements in JavaScript. You can do this by modifying the property directly or by changing the attribute. This technique is a key part of DOM manipulation and helps you create interactive, user-friendly web pages. If you want multiple inputs to be read-only or editable at different times, you just need to set their read-only properties individually. Remember, for elements that are truly read-only in JavaScript, like constants or frozen objects, you cannot change them, and attempting to do so will cause errors. Mastering how to control element properties like read-only helps you build smarter forms and better user experiences on the web.